Hey guys, today we're going to continue our study of three-dimensional objects. Here's one right here. Do you remember, is this a prism or is this a pyramid? Does it have one base or does it have two bases? If it has two bases, it's a prism. If it has one base, it's a prism. It's a pyramid. What do you think? You're correct. This is a prism. And so we're going to use this prism to learn about nets. In seventh grade, we focus mostly on the nets. When you get into eighth grade, you will find, let me back up. You will use nets to find the total surface area of this object. Now, when you get into the eighth grade, you won't use nets anymore. You will actually have a formula that will show you how to find the total surface area of this shape. But I'm going to open it up and you can see the net. Now, this is why the net can be easier. If you can find the area of a rectangle, and this 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 rectangle, and then add them all up, then you'll do fine with nets. So it can be the easier way. So right here, we're looking at your notes, we're going to fill in the first part. It says a net is a 3D figure that is laid out flat. The lateral faces, and this is where I feel like these words lateral and then the bases kind of throw you guys off, but the lateral faces are the faces that are not bases. So let's go back to this shape. Let's have these two sides be my bases. All right, now watch when I open it up. There they are. There's my bases. So the bases are not lateral faces. So that means these four shapes in the middle, these are my lateral faces. If I wanted to know the total surface area, then I would add up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 areas. I'd find the areas of all these shapes and I'd add them up. If I want to know the lateral, so here's vocabulary, the lateral surface area, I would only add up these four sides. Again, total, all of it, lateral, only these four sides. So we have a picture down below, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to go ahead and use this opportunity to share this, and this is going to be something that you're just going to have to process. Back with this shape that I showed you yesterday, it's really obvious what the base is. If I showed you this shape again, I think again, once you start understanding bases, you'll understand these two sides are the bases and they're the only possible sides that can be the bases. But with a rectangular prism, you have choices. You could have these two sides be the bases, and then the four, like I showed you before, are the lateral faces. You could pick these two sides where my hands are to be the bases, and then all of these sides would be the lateral faces. So you actually have choices. So if I gave you this shape and I said, what is the total surface area? It wouldn't matter what the bases are. We would all get the same answer. But if I asked you, what is the lateral surface area? You and me, we both have to pick the same bases to get the same answer. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And we're always going to do that by shading the bases. All right, so on this first shape, I'm going to shade in this and this as my bases. So it'd be kind of like these two flappy parts out here. Now, first off, we're going to look at this. We're going to name the shape, and it is a rectangular prism because it has two bases. And we'll put that here, two bases. All right, So it says make any two sides the base. So we did that. We picked two sides. We always have to pick the same two sides. So if that's true, there's four faces. And now we need to find the total surface area. So here's what's cool about, as much as I say you have to find the area of these 6 rectangles, you really only have to find the area of 3 rectangles because this one has a twin. They're going to be exactly the same. These two are going to be exactly the same. And these two are going to be exactly the same because when I fold this up, let me get one that's already folded. These two sides are exactly the same. These two sides are exactly the same. So just so you know that. Twinsies. So if I look at the shaded part, this one here, this is a 4 by 5. I can draw the picture and you can tell that the top here is 5, the side is 4. So 4 times 5 is 20. And there are 2 of those sides. So that's 20 times 2 is 40. All right, let's look at another side. Let's look at this side. I'll make lines that are a little bit different. And this one, you can tell that one side is 11 and the other side is 5. 11 times 5, base times height, is 55. And there's 2 of them. Here's the other one. All right, that's going to be 110. Last part. Right here, well, I'm going to do dots just to be different. You can see that shape. That one is 4 and an 11. Length times width, base times height. Either way, you get 44. There's 2 of them. Here's the other one. The twinsies. So that's going to be 2 of those, which is 88. Okay, now let's do lateral first. We already know that these are the bases, so I'm not going to include those. I'm just going to do the 4 lateral faces, which is the 110 and the 88. So that is a total of 198 for my lateral. And because it's area, it's going to be squared. Now, let's add the bases to get the total. So that's going to be the 40, 8, 13, 238. And that's, again, squared. Now remember, the total will always have to be more than the lateral because the total includes the bases. Let's look at another one. This one, again, it just takes experience. Let me find all right. This one is the one that messes everybody up the most because everyone wants to say that this is the base. But if you look at this shape down here, none of these sides are parallel to it. This is a triangular prism because these 2 sides are parallel and it's a triangle. So I'm going to open it up and there we go. So because the triangles are the bases on this shape on number 2 on your notes, let's shade in those bases. All right. So again, I mentioned a moment ago, this is a triangular prism. There's 2 bases. Now look at here, there's 1, 2, 3 faces. Now those faces are not necessarily all going to be the same. So we have to figure out what the length, the base and height of each of those rectangles are. But let's do the triangles first. There's a triangle right here. I'm going to pull it out. And they're telling you that this line is 4 and this line is 5. Formula is for the area of that triangle is base times height divided by 2. 4 times 5 divided by 2 is 10. Okay, now how many of them are there? There are 2 of them. So I double it. So this is 20 for the bases. Okay, now let's do each rectangle. I'm looking at the first rectangle, and to me, it's super obvious that this one is 5 times 10. So 5 times 10 is 50. All right, I'm going to look at the next one. I know that for the triangle number 2, one side is 5. Now pay attention to this next part. If this line up here is 10, then this is 10 and this is 10. All right, I hope you caught that, which tells me that this rectangle also is 5 times 10. In fact, if you go down to this rectangle, I know I keep saying triangle, this rectangle, the third rectangle, it is also 5 times 10. So all 3 of my lateral faces are 50. So let's go 50 times 3 is 150. So lateral does not include the bases. So it is those 3 sides. These 3 sides right here is 50 centimeters squared. Now let's add the bases. 150 plus 20 is 170. I was looking at my notes. All right, centimeters squared. All right, there we go. I think that's everything. All right, good luck. You're going to do great. Bye-bye.